Hey guys, so as you can see on the table we got the PX4 Storm Compact. A few things done, a few things installed to it, but instead of doing a regular tabletop I figured I'd go ahead and talk about the gun but also break it down and do a quick cleaning as well. So I'm kind of experimenting. This is a sort of a new video, but you know, if you guys like it, let me know. If you guys think it sucks, also let me know so I don't ever waste my time doing this again. Anyway, takedown levers are over here. Easiest way that I've found is you can just use both hands and kind of push the lever down and actually get it off the frame. So you can see here I actually have, well, if you don't know, actually this is the competition trigger group, and I went ahead and got that installed. At first I was actually kind of miffed about it because I thought it was not really that great, but I've decided to let it go and see if it will break in, and much to my pleasure, much to my delight, I guess I should say, it actually broke in. So I think I'll actually keep it instead of getting pissed off. So as you can see on the slide here, I've also got the low profile decockers installed as well. Those are great. Took out the detent, so it's no longer a type F, which I hated anyways. So alright, take our barrel out. Pretty cool. See the rotating locking action. There's your feed ramp right there. I don't know if you can see that. And yeah, that's not actually a shot of Jack Daniels for all you disappointed alcoholics out there. This is actually hoppies, or hops, however the hell you want to say it, number 9 in a shot glass. The shot glass bit's a nice little tip I picked up along the way, so shout out to my dad for that one. Just kind of, oh yeah, beautiful. Wow, man, that is a deep channel in that slide. Fortunately, this foam tipped cleaner here actually fits really nice in there. So, okay, that looks pretty good. Cool, we'll leave that aside. Okay, so we got our spring and I don't really know what you want to call this. I guess the almost like a sled that they put the actual spring in. It's kind of interesting. And this is the actual, I don't know if you want to call that a cam or a track, but this is what the actual barrel rotates on right here. So interesting thing about this pistol, this is probably the only thing that really differs. Well, obviously the whole action itself differs a lot, but this is probably the most difficult part of actually getting this pistol back together, is getting this lined up in the actual gun itself, and getting it lined up and getting the barrel tilted, or getting it barrel rotated actually the right spot so that it'll actually slide in the frame. But it's a little bit more difficult to do. I guess you can consider it a drawback, but if you know, you're like a complete moron, I guess, but it's really not that bad. It's just different, right? So, okay, and on to the barrel here. Wipe most of the carbon off the feed ramp, so that's good. Kind of an interesting feed ramp, though, if you kind of look at it. It's not like a standard Browning action feed ramp. It's kind of a little bit oblong, right? Kind of a little bit oddly shaped, I guess you could say. Interesting. Part of the reason I picked up this gun, you know, it's a bit different than every other gun that you really get. The rotating barrel, not the standard traditional Browning action that tilts. It's unique, and if you're, you know, into the if you're kind of the person that likes unique sort of firearms, then I suppose you'll like this one too. So Okay, go ahead and run our brush through here. Yeah, there you go. So it's a bit loose, so we can probably run 2 patches through it here. Then we'll run some CLP through it, and that should finish it out. Should take care of the barrel. Okay. All right. Now, last little bit, we'll check the frame real quick. So, got a little bit of carbon buildup on the start of the feed ramp here on the frame. So we'll just hit that with some solvent. How are we looking? Huh, it's kind of interesting that you know, most handguns that you see, right, have a sort of a metal insert for the start of their frame right there for where the feed ramp comes in, or mostly the barrel takes care of that. Usually you don't see, I mean, some pistols might have the start of the feed ramp on the slide itself, but I've yet to see a handgun that actually has the start of a polymer feed ramp, which is what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like a polymer feed ramp that the bullets hit first to get into the gun, which is kind of interesting. I haven't really seen that before now. Maybe some other guns do that, but that's kind of different. We'll get our spring and should go in like that. Okay, good. So, interesting thing here is that one thing to note is that the pointed end is going to go inside your rounded end. This is the muzzle end here, and that's where the rounded end is going to go to the muzzle end. So just a bit of CLP here. Put a little bit of lubrication on these teeny tiny microscopic frame rails. Can't believe that's really the only steel that it's riding on in this whole thing, minus those are polymer back here. That's interesting. Huh. We'll have to see how well this gun actually holds up. Gotta get it lined up. Make sure you get that feed all the way in there. All right. Now it's back together. So after shooting this a little bit, hopefully I'll get some shooting video of it soon. But first couple of rounds through it, and it's really great. This gun is surprisingly soft shooting, and I know people say that about a lot of 9mm, and I think it's BS. I think all 9mm shoot soft, but I think I can make an exception for this one because the felt recoil on this is surprisingly light, and I think it has to do with the rotating barrel in this and how it disperses energy. But yeah, especially with these upgrades now in this, with the low profile decocking levers and no Type F detent to hold down the safety, which is how it should have been to begin with. This gun is really great now, and I also have the Beretta 8000 hammer spring in here installed as well. So the single action now is probably about 4 pounds, maybe a little bit lighter than that. When I first installed this, it actually had a bit of creep, and I was kind of pissed because I thought it was rather disappointed that this would have a bit of creep in it. But me and my wisdom didn't realize that it might take a little bit to break in, so I've continued to dry fire it quite a bit with my snap cap here, so calm down everyone who thinks I'm going to break a firing pin. And it's really started to break in, and it's really lost a lot of that creep, and it feels pretty good now actually. It only gets a little bit of creep every now and then, but it's really starting to lighten up, and it's really starting to get a really solid break. I mean, you can see that there's just this take up, and then you hit your brake, and there's really nothing, there's really no creep in it at all, which is amazing, especially for a polymer framed duty gun. I think that is just absolutely mind-blowing. And double action, little heavy, but surprisingly smooth for, again, a polymer framed duty gun. This double action, especially with that new hammer spring in here, is surprisingly good. I mean, really surprisingly good. I mean, this is honestly, this beats the stock CZ P07 by a long shot. In fact, I actually sold my CZ P07 to pick this gun up. That's how great I think this gun is. And you know, in my limited time with it right now, I can definitely stand by that statement. And obviously we'll have to continue to see how this gun holds up, but it's pretty amazing that with about $100 in parts, this gun has basically been transformed from something that was pretty good to something that's pretty great actually now. And with the P07, it's a good gun, but if you want to get that kind of performance, you're going to end up paying almost as much as the gun itself to have those kind of parts in this. And I think that the fact that you can purchase some upgrade parts from Beretta and install them pretty easily yourself says a lot about how upgradable this pistol is and how much you can actually refine it without having to spend a whole ton of money. So this gun, especially for under $500, is just outstanding, you know, and I think it's criminally underrated, and I think that more people should look into it because this really is a great gun. And you know, unfortunately, I really would not be surprised if Beretta decides to discontinue it in the near future, just because it's kind of an obscure gun, right? It doesn't really have a lot of support and never really seemed to catch on with any sort of law enforcement or anything like that. So I mean, it is a great gun, and I will continue to use it. It's just a shame that it never really caught on with everyone else, because it really is outstanding, and I think it is performs so much better than its other mainline competitors, but it's just often overlooked. So anyway, hopefully I can get some shooting footage of it soon, and thanks for watching.